take place, because the first documented transplant didn't occur until 1998 at the Cleveland Clinic. I just sent you a little email about that, and I believe there are rumors that there were some other similar transplants in other countries, but none have been documented. So the only ones that we sort of talk about and look to are the one at Cleveland Clinic in '98, and then ours in 2010 as medically documented actual successful transplants. So I sent you an email just a second ago about that. Perhaps because the transplant itself requires hours of microsurgery to reattach the nerve fibers between the donor organ and the recipient, and you've got to literally work under a microscope and with very, very, very tiny sutures to make those connections and bring that, so the nerves back to working order. And I don't know myself, but I'm not sure if that was easy or possible in 1977, which might explain why it didn't. Nothing officially took place until 1998, 21 years later. I'm not the expert myself. That was our physician, our surgeons here had said that, but it has something to do with each individual person's, their mouth and their nose, and how how the movement of their own tongue and lips work. That helps to define the air movement and thus the sound and the tone of an individual's voice. So the organ itself doesn't carry with it the voice, the tone, the sound that we all expect when we hear someone talk. It's the mouth and the nose, and I guess the movement. It's the shape of your mouth and nose, and then the movement of your tongue and lips, and that's very much an individual for each person. That's why we addressed it in our question Q&As when we did the story about it, because that was a question a lot of people were wondering about. Yeah, 1998 Cleveland Clinic did it, and then we followed up with the second one. That was many years later. It's a very difficult surgery. I actually saw the one we did here, and it was approximately 18 hours. And it's a pretty arduous transplant. So it's sort of doubtful that somebody could undergo that. Plus, the other thing, and you might check it out, is if you do undergo one of these transplants, like any organ transplant, you have to then be on the antisuppressants for the rest of your life, because you've got a foreign organ in your body, so you have to take drugs for the rest of your life to offset any type of rejection. So it's anti-rejection drugs. And it's crucial. And actually, our patient had already had a pancreas transplant. She'd already had a kidney transplant, and so she was already on those anti-rejection drugs that every organ patient has to take, every transplant patient has to take. So for her, it was a no-brainer type of surgery in the respect for having to take drugs the rest of your life. She was already on them. But you can look up transplant in the literature, and you'll find that one of the drawback, positive is you can get a new organ, but the drawback is you do have to be on these meds for the rest of your life, and it's not an elective surgery that surgeons would do unless you were already on those drugs and put you on. They wouldn't start that for a larynx transplant unless you were already on those. Very, very, it's got health risks when you have to take those medications for the rest of your life, so that your body won't reject the transplanted organ. But the other thing is, you could start off by the fact is that 1977, it's doubtful that surgery was possible, with the techniques they had at that time, which may explain why it wasn't done for 21 years later. 1998 was the first one.